Ladies and gentlemen, you know we're going to do Wonder Woman, but before we do, we're looking at King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword, which comes out April 12th in cinemas, which is this Friday. It comes out this Friday. Now, the background to it is seen in the corner right here, and it says, robbed of the birthright, Arthur comes up the hard way in the back alleys of the city. But once he pulls the sword from the stone, he is forced to acknowledge his true legacy, whether he likes it or not. This film stars Jude Law, and it also stars Eric Banner, two very excellent actors. You just saw Jude Law there. So, that's Eric Banner you just saw as well. So, it's one that I think you should go see. Actually, maybe have some surprises in it. Alright? So, go check it out. Now, before I begin, I just want to talk about a piece of scripture here that comes from Proverbs 21:5. It says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to abundance or plenteousness, but everyone that is hasty only to want. There's a difference between diligence and hastiness. Diligence or due diligence allows you to do what you're supposed to do after analyzing the situation so that you can navigate through it the best possible way. Whereas hastiness, a person, fools rush in, as they say. It involves rushing a lot, impatience. Take, for example, you got to go to work in the morning. Which are you going to choose? A diligent person would make sure and study the traffic flow, and he would wake up before the traffic comes out so that he can get out the road and down to where he has to go to on time with less stress and hassle, which would mean preparation the night before, going to sleep earlier so he can get up earlier, having all his stuff in place so he can get up, put up his stuff, eat what he has to eat, and go to work. A hasty person, on the other hand, does not do the preparation in advance so that he may get up, but he barely get up to time to be able to get there, and he could just barely miss the time to get in front of all of that traffic flow. So he has to deal with all that traffic flow. So what does he do? He now has to compromise himself. So he starts to break rules. He's not going with the traffic flow. He's trying to break and break rules and go on the shoulders. He's honking people. He's cursing people out. And he still gets to work late, though barely late. And every day he doesn't learn from his situation. That's a hasty person, an impulsive person. You see it in the workplace where people fight down one another. They try to sabotage one another to get ahead instead of just doing due diligence or learning how to do things properly with whatever their role is, so that things can run smoothly and so that they can actually do what they're supposed to do, so justifiably they can't be put in a bad place. So you got all this politics going on in the workplaces. You see it also in life, where people decide to cheat and steal and rob and murder other people to get what they have, instead of thinking things through, being diligent in what they do so they can earn their money for themselves instead of living off of other people in illegal ways. So there's a difference between hastiness. Hastiness leads to want. You always want. But diligence brings forth not just satisfaction but abundance to be able to share. And diligence comes from God. So if you want diligence in your life, ask God. Let Him be a part of your life. It's that simple. So we're in the sun here, and basically we're going to look at this article which confirms a lot of things. You know, the United Nations, they withdrew Wonder Woman as ambassador because of protests by certain employees there and feminists who said that Wonder Woman was an inappropriate choice because she was culturally insensitive, she had big boobs, she had impossible dimensions, she was like a pin-up model. The irony of the situation is that this article says that certain fans think that the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman has small boobs. By the way, the UN people who protested, they were saying the current depiction of Wonder Woman, right? Oh, she has this glistening, shiny suit that reminds us of her being a pinup model. And she represents the United States of America only, not the world. Well, this Wonder Woman has smaller boobs. 2, yes, she's athletic, but it's because she's militarily trained, so those dimensions are possible because it's a real human having those dimensions. 3, she's built like a warrior, so that what people are talking about, strangely enough, is exactly what warriors wore. And you can go and watch my video before. And then 4, she's culturally sensitive because she comes from a place where equality is actually there. She's really representing a woman's perspective on things. And she's all about equity. And if you look at the band that accompanies Wonder Woman, it's a diverse band of people. I don't know if people even notice that. Not to mention, we've got Etta Candy, who's a woman in a period of time where women didn't really have much of a say. And then we have all these people from different backgrounds, from Turkish background, it looks like, I'm not too sure, Irish background. We have people from American background, etc., etc. We have even a native Indian on her squad. So what are you talking about culturally sensitive? Are you guys even paying attention to the movie? The current iteration of Wonder Woman? I don't think so. So, this article is very interesting because they actually talk about Gal Gadot having a military background, which is big because she doesn't have to force to sell the idea that she's military. This is something Gal has because she's been in the National Army, in the Israeli National Army, for 2 years. Very interestingly enough, there's another thing that's very interesting. They were commenting on her boobs, right? Remember, she has small boobs. She said, well, the Amazons only have one boob because they usually cut off the breast to be able to shoot the bow and arrow straighter. So they should be happy they're getting 2. Which is really funny because you could see that Gal's more of a military, athletic kind of person. That's how her built, which makes sense, right? So all of these things that these feminists talked about in this article is kind of debunking that, actually, which is pretty funny. And it's written by a woman too, which is really cool. So you can see her military home fitness from 2 years of national service in the Israeli army served her well for Wonder Woman training. And she also turned out to be the worst contestant in history for the Miss Universe pageant, which is pretty funny. I hear people also comment how Gal can't act. I think John Campea was the dude championing that charge because his desired actress to play Wonder Woman didn't come about. I don't know about that. When I looked at Gal Gadot's, how she does her take on a character, even in Fast and Furious, I thought it was unique, fresh, and it had me intrigued about the character that Gal played. So it was actually someone in the movie business, a gentleman who was involved in a James Bond film, who told her she should go into acting. And Gal Gadot's been doing it, and she's been doing it pretty good. She's been in some floppy movies, but she's been doing it pretty well nonetheless. So, Henry Cavill, he was a career actor. Gal was not a career actor, okay? And I think that's why she gets so much flack from these guys in Hollywood. Because they're like, oh, you've never done acting a lot, so you're not good. Which is stupid, you know? She's unproven, but she's not, you can't say whether she's good or bad. That's the thing. So, we'll see how Gal does in this movie, Wonder Woman. And that will tell us everything we need to know. On that note, you guys have a good one. Just remember, King Arthur comes out in movie theaters this Friday. So go ahead, check it out. Wonder Woman. Oh, we're looking forward to that. First superhero movie with a woman as a lead in 75 years. Superpowered superhero movie too. Have a great one, guys.